Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Today is Monday, April 28th, and this is the Finance Committee meeting, and we're starting at 5 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. Now is the time for public comment. Seeing none, I will move on to regular business. And our first item is to approve the minutes from the March 24th regular meeting. Can I get a motion?
So
Make the motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, the Kingsburg Business Park Highway Commercial Sign Update with presentation by member Alexander Henderson.
Good evening, Chairperson Smith and members of the Finance Committee. This is an update to our ongoing efforts related to the Kingsburg Business Park commercial sign. So some background on June 24th of last year, the Finance Committee received an update with regards to the sign, which is now owned by the city. The Finance Committee at that time provided direction to ensure that any possible improvement to the sign be covered by the cost of leases, including ongoing maintenance, utility costs, and anything else, as well as refurbishment. The city's Economic Development Committee, during their September meeting of 2024, made a recommendation to the Finance Committee to refurbish the existing sign without adding a digital component. This option was the least expensive of all those explored and involves the least amount of ongoing costs, including electricity, digital sign repair. So on October 28th of 2024, the Finance Committee provided direction to staff to begin negotiating leases, which include size and number of panels desired, the length of the leases with 2-year minimums being industry standard, annual costs and security deposits, early termination language, and sign change and maintenance responsibility. So after several months, we have reached near consensus on leases and are asking the Finance Committee to make a recommendation to the City Council to approve the leases. City Attorney Mike Noland has reviewed and approved all forms of the leases. We are hopeful that all the leases will be approved by the tenants in time for the May 7th, 2025 City Council meeting. Staff is bringing this item to the Finance Committee prior to execution of the leases by the tenants in anticipation of their approval and desire to begin the project as soon as possible. Our sign consultant has held prices for several months, but is concerned about potential increases, including tariffs on materials. So as the writing of the staff report, the status of the leases includes Valley Health Team. Abby, can you go to the actual sign itself? It's like the third attachment. Or a second attachment. There you go. Yeah, that one. So Valley Health Team has committed to the top 2 full panel spaces on the sign and have agreed to a 3-year lease for both spaces and are electing the option to pay the entire amount up front. So we offered discounts, 2.5% if you paid for 2 years up front and 5% if you paid for 3 years up front. So they want the top one to be for the Valley Health Team, and then the second one would be for urgent care that they provide there, which I think they also, part of that is a partnership with the Kingsburg Healthcare District, and the Healthcare District, I think, provides some funding for marketing of the urgent care. The next one is the T-Mobile Customer Experience Center. So they have committed to a single full panel with a 2-year lease and have also elected to pay the entire amount up front, again, which is a 2.5% discount. They have agreed to the terms, and we're just waiting for the person who's able to execute the lease to return from vacation, which we expect to be either this week or early next. Starbucks, the second Starbucks location, which is at 301 West Sierra Street, have committed to a single full panel with a 2-year lease, also electing to pay the entire amount up front, so a 2.5% discount. So we're still negotiating final language details with their legal team, but feel pretty confident that we'll have that very soon. And then Cheyenne Steakhouse and Lounge. So they've committed to a single full panel with a 2-year lease, but they have elected to make monthly lease payments. They're also participating in the city's facade grant program to offset some of the initial upfront costs. They have already agreed to the terms and have signed the lease, so we have that one completed. So a reminder that A+ Signs in Fresno has provided costs associated with the design, manufacturing, and installation of the signs. These costs are separate from the lease payments and are the responsibility of the tenants. A Plus will serve as the ongoing contracted vendor and would provide services as part of the on-call agreement with agreed-upon rates. So also included, Abby, if you want to go to the cost and expenditure summary, which is the third attachment. Yes, thank you. So I just have laid out essentially what the costs are for, sort of what the individual costs are for each tenant. So you'll see the design and install costs, the rent, and then the security deposit for each one. And then if you go down to the second page, you'll see what our costs are, including the refurbishment. So I have that broken out at the bottom there. So there's one-time costs on the left-hand side, and then there are year one and year two costs that we expect to be ongoing, and then what the remaining fund balance is anticipated at the end of the 2 years based upon existing leases. So each of the terms would expire at the end of 2 years except for the Valley Health Team one, which has elected for a 3-year term. So our discussion this evening is to get feedback from the Finance Committee and then ultimately hopefully make a recommendation for the council to consider the actual leases themselves, which you would actually see the full executed leases prior to, or for the council to consider, hopefully at the May 7th meeting, but some of that is dependent upon the tenants returning the leases signed prior to council's consideration. So that concludes my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions about the lease structure or costs and revenues that you may have.
Very good. Committee discussion. I had one quick question. On here for Cheyenne's, they're participating in the city's facade grant program to offset that. How exactly is that working?
So we have the facade program that everyone can participate in. So as we went through this first, I guess just to give some additional background. So we started with just Business Park folks there and offered it to them first. And when we didn't fill the panels up right away, we opened it up. And so technically Starbucks does not have a location in the Business Park, and also obviously Cheyenne's doesn't either. But we were hoping to, for one, we were hoping to get a restaurant, and two, someone local. And so the challenge that Cheyenne had is that they were fine with the monthly payments, but they had just apparently made some significant investment in the building, and so they were concerned about making the upfront payments for the design and manufacturing. So they applied for the facade program, and so we're providing a partial match on the installation costs, which normally we provide up to $10,000. I think it's in the cost breakdown. So we're paying about half. I think it's about $6,000 total, the grant will cover about $6,000 total of the installation costs and a portion of her security deposit. If you look at their rent, you'll see that their rent amount is $1,563 a month, which is more than the $1,300 because they selected to make payments, and so it's a little bit higher to help offset those costs.
Okay, no, perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, if there's no more discussion, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend this item to council for approval.
I'll second. Is that exactly what we're doing? I just want to make sure we're doing the right thing. You guys are looking for direction, or you guys are looking for a recommendation to go forward to council?
Yeah, so I think it's recommend execution of the leases by the city council pending final lease language negotiations, review by the city attorney, and tenant signatures. So we won't bring anything to the council until it's in final form, which I am just hopeful that will be completed this week, because I'd like to get started. We're hoping to get started on the sign so that we can keep the pricing locked in.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, is there any other business? Seeing none, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. There we go. Very nice. That'll be a great sign to get up.